So hey guys, welcome to another nostalgia run, and today I'm gonna run the Serpentshrine Cavern. Now this raid is probably the most important for me from the Burning Crusade. It was not my favorite, that is still Karazhan, but this one was the most important for me because in this raid I made the transition from a raid leader to a guild leader. So I'll talk about that as we go through the raid. Now I decided to show you how to get in because if you didn't play in the Burning Crusade, you probably have no idea that this is even here. So you have to go here. This is the Zangar Marsh. In the new Outland, it's kind of the north of Nagrand, from where Brackenspore came and stuff like that. So we're going to submerge over here in the Colfunk Reservoir, and we're going to swim down. We're going to swim to this through this tube, and that's where the entrance for Underbog is, the slave pens, another one that I just forgot, and the Serpentshrine Cavern. Now, as I've said, this one was the most important for me because I made the transition from a raid leader to a guild leader. I can't... Oh my god. Come on, Blizzard. Let me jump everywhere. So, why is that? Well, at that time, I was still a guild leader, but I didn't act like one. I would essentially just hold the guild together, and I would lead raids. But when it came to this raid, people started dropping because they were really difficult. And once again, not difficult like today where like Operator Torag or whatever his name is on Mythic is just you have to move here and then move here or move there or you're just get flattened by a train. It was the old Naxxramas level of difficulty, which is there is a couple of abilities, but they are hard as hell. Okay, they're just gonna kill you straight up if you deal with them wrong. So people started dropping because it was too difficult for them. And I don't blame them. It was really hard. I mean, like, Lady Vashj and Kel'Thas, they were bugged and essentially unkillable for months during the Burning Crusade. So people started dropping, and I had to recruit people. And since we didn't have a guild page, because guild pages weren't that common, really, back in the Burning Crusade, we didn't have one. So the way I did it is once we got past Serpentshrine Cavern and we started doing Hyjal and Black Temple, I would recruit people here. Alright, once there was no need for us to do Serpentshrine Cavern, I would just make a pug every week. I would take the pug here, and we would wipe until I saw someone who was doing decently. Maybe we have even killed a couple of bosses, which was always nice, but I never really needed the gear. My only reason I was in this raid was to recruit people, to look for healers that healed really well, weren't running out of mana, weren't spike healing with flashes and stuff. And I would whisper them like, hey, you're pretty good, you're not bad. Wanna join my raid? You know, we were raiding, we're kind of not bad, you know. Also, I'm in the proper specialization. Protection, which is my love. So I would just ask them. And those would be people with blue gear. They had shit gear. I didn't give a damn about what gear they wore. Right? If you're a healer and you're healing sensibly, I'm going to invite you to my guild. We're going to run you through Karazhan, through Gruul's lair, through Macteridan's lair. We're going to run you through Serpentshrine Cavern. We don't give a shit. If you're a good healer, we are going to equip you and you're going to raid with us. And the same went for DPS. If I saw someone with average gear doing above average DPS, I'll be like, hey, you're not bad. You're not bad. You know, want to maybe get carried through a couple of raids and then raid like Black Temple and Hyjal? They'd be like, oh, hell yeah. So that's how I would recruit people. Now, this boss, the only thing I remember from him is that you had to move him between those two pylons, because he would change colors. Let's actually see if I can get him to do that. Come on. Oh, don't use revenge. Revenge is bad. Okay. I think he would, like, yeah, change color, and then I would have to bring him back through here or something like that. And he would change back and something stupid. Yeah, there we go. So he changes color, and then you have to kite him away from this. So he changes color again, and then you have to move him back. And that's how you would kill him, because he would start doing something. I don't remember what, but he did a lot of damage. And I got a pet. Tainted Waveling. I don't know. Do I have this pet? Tainted. I do not. Excellent. Awesome. Something to level up again. Pokemon. There you go. So that was the first boss. He wasn't very difficult. It was all up to the tanks. Okay, a little bit to the DPS as well because, well, he spawns ads, and ads were an issue. So if you didn't have, like, a prop paladin, which in Serpentshrine Cavern, they weren't that common still. They were alright by now, because they finally got a taunt. Unlike in vanilla. I don't have fishing, so we have to skip lurker. Or do I have fishing? I don't know. Do I have fishing? I do not have fishing. There is a boss that you can fish over there. He's the lurker below. Or something like that. So paladins weren't that common still. They became more common and actually kind of favorite during High Jump. Because there was a lot of wave fights with a bunch of ads. So, you know, paladins with their consecration and the other spell was like Holy Wrath or something. They were really good at picking and holding AoE threat. So they weren't that common, so the ads would run around if, you know, you had a warrior and all he had was Thunderclap and he had to Sunder Armor or Devastate. Did warriors have Devastate by this time? I think we did have Devastate. So he would have to Devastate every single mob before people can attack them. So that was that. Now we're moving on to Leotheras the Blind. Now Leotheras the Blind was pretty special. He is pretty special even when you talk about him today, because he used to be tanked one half of the time by a warrior or your main tank, and the other half by a warlock. That warlock would have to have, I think it was shadow resistance gear, and I do believe the spell warlocks used to use to hold aggro was Searing Pain. I don't think warlocks have that anymore. So it was Searing Pain, and it wasn't like a pet tanking him, it was the actual warlock. Because right now I think the best spec for destruction warlocks was to go pet sack, so you sack your pet, and I do believe that in the Burning Crusade the entire rotation of a warlock was just Shadow Bolt, because dots didn't do enough damage, so they would just spam Shadow Bolt. Alright, I kind of make fun of that in the inaccurate representation of a vanilla raid, where warlocks would do the same. They would sack their pet and then they would spam Shadow Bolt. But in the Burning Crusade it was still a thing. Warlocks would just spam Shadow Bolt. Now over here there was a tank trinket dropping from this trash. There was a trash drop. It was a tank trinket. I hope I get it because that would be a nice kick. But it was a stamina trinket. And you kind of needed that for Hydro and stuff. So it was kind of nice. I think it was BOE, so if no one wanted it and I was on my recruitment run, I would just pick it up. I would sell it on the auction house to send it to my bank alt or the guild bank alt to kind of keep the finances rolling. And there he is, Leotheras the Blind. He has Warglaives as well. And I will try to not kill him very fast so I can show you the second phase. Now the way this guy would work is you would tank him as a humanoid, which is here, you can see. Once you got him low enough, he would change into his demon form, I think, or it was time-based. So here's Leotheras. You would just tank him like this. He wouldn't do much, right? I think he did some, yeah, there it is. He would do this, which would put a dot on you, so just run away from him. Don't kill him. Oh my god. I fucked up. After that, he would change into a demon form, which is where Warlock would start spamming Searing Pain, because the only thing he would do is cast some shadow spell or something like that. So the Warlock would hold aggro with that, because you couldn't really afford to have a warrior tank him, because there was no way of mitigating those spells, and you couldn't really have full resist gear for him because he hit too hard. So a Warlock would tank him during that phase, then he would change back to this form, which is his human form, and then the warrior would pick him up again, and then at 20% health, I do believe, he would split, so there would be the humanoid form and the demon form. So the warrior would pick up the humanoid form, and the warlock would have to pick up the demon form. And from this boss, I got my first piece of tier 5, which was... Are they here? The gloves. There we go. So that was my first piece of tier 5 I have ever looted on my warrior on my previous account. I actually never did Serpentshrine Cavern on this warrior. So I think I'll actually ding an achievement once we kill Lady Vashj. Now we're moving on to a boss that I liked the least. And it was because it was an ad fight and there were a lot of shit mechanics that if you just don't deal with them properly, like you're a DPS and you don't kill like a totem or something, it's gonna kill the tank. So as a tank, my survivability was just hoping that, you know, I had to rely on DPS players to kill certain things and healers to heal me up. So this fight was kind of shit, because you could be the best tank in the world and still die here because someone fucked up. Right, so I didn't like that really, even though that's like the standard nowadays. You know, someone fucks up and someone dies. These douchebags leaving their shit on the floor. So here it is. Phantom God Shakaris. I don't know. That was the douchebag. He hit really hard. And he still does, because I think he does like a percentage-based damage. So I'm just going to blow him up with Blade Storm. I don't want to show you any of the mechanics, because he just hurts too fucking much. There we go. And he drops his mace, the World Breaker. There we go. My inventory is full. What? Oh, he didn't drop it. What a douchebag. There we go. Let's leave that. And that. And I got... What? Savage Satchel of Cooperation. Lovely. More runes. And I got a... Okay. Let's see. Let's do that. That's an Agi rune. And that's an Int rune. I want the Int rune for my druid. There we go. Moving on to the Murloc King. And this boss, we got stuck on this boss for a long time. It was primarily because we only had warriors. We had 2 warriors tanking here. And this boss was just a glorious boss for a pro paladin. Because he just spawns a shit ton of murlocs from everywhere. This would just be an AoE fight. He also encased people in some bubble and you had to burst it or something. But the main thing he would do is spawn a shite ton of murlocs. And it was annoying as hell for a warrior to pick them up. Because one bunch was going from there, the other one from there. As you can see, they're just running all over the bloody place. And picking them up was a nightmare. I hated this boss. That's not execute, that's taunt. There we go. But he dropped a cool weapon. There it is. The Talon of Ashara. And I'm going to pick that up because I want to transmog that. And here we have... Oh yeah. The manliest shoulder pads any plate wearer could ever wear. And after this, well, the only thing left is Lady Vashj. And Lady Vashj, actually in the Blackrock Foundry, there is a boss that kind of reminds me of Lady Vashj. And it's the Blast Furnace, actually. And once we get to Lady Vashj, I can talk about it because that boss fight is actually pretty long. Even now, because, well, we'll have to wait for 18th cores and stuff like that. So, yeah. This boss, yeah, it... the first time I went in here, I thought I'm never going to be able to solo it on my druid. You know, after I resubbed in Cataclysm. I thought like, oh yeah, I've killed everything and I can't kill Lady Vashj because I'm alone. And they fixed it, so you can actually solo Lady Vashj now. Now, the mechanic I'm talking about is actually pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome and infuriating at the same time, because everyone in the raid had to know what the fuck they're doing. Because if they don't, well, that fight's gonna take about 40 minutes. She's gonna get too many stacks, and she's gonna one-shot your tank once she transitions into the last phase. So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna click a huge button thing, majig, and a bridge is gonna appear. Come here, smack, there we go. This thing. Lady Vashj bridge console. There we go. So we're gonna click it. And invisible bridge. Yeah, they never fixed this, but there it is. There is a bridge to Lady Vashj. So, Lady Vashj is up there. And this was one of the most broken bosses. Even, I think, when like the first guild in the world managed to kill her, some of the ads didn't despawn and they would AoE the entire raid. So the raid would be dead under Lady Vashj. They couldn't run back. And once these ads despawned, her corpse despawned as well. So they didn't even get loot from her. Right? They would spend like months trying to kill her. Once they did, well, she would bug out. And the first guild couldn't get back because the spore bats that was spawned would AoE the entire raid and they would kill them before they got here. Or the second guild in the world that actually killed her, her corpse despawned instantly, so they didn't get loot either. Which was kind of annoying because you had to get a quest item from her. Alright, so here's Lady Vashj. We're just going to blow her up in the beginning, and she's going to transition into phase 2. In this phase, there wouldn't be much going on. So now she's going to apply a shield to herself, and we can't damage her. So she's immune to everything. Now, there are 4 shield generators around Shield Vashj. Shield Vashj? Okay, that was dumb. Around Lady Vashj. Now, what we have to do, first of all, you have to kill these elementals, because if one of them gets to her, he'll get her a stacking buff. And that's not good, because once she transitions into phase 3, she will one-shot your tank pretty much. If you get too many dudes, just let them get to her. So we have to kill those. I don't have to kill them, but back in the day you wouldn't have to kill them. And you would look out for missiles flying from below. Because these aren't the only ads that are going to spawn, or the only elementals. There'll be a tainted version of them. And there's a... Well, there we go. There's the thing. So there's a tainted elemental. Now, when you kill him, he drops a core. Now, nowadays, you can just walk with the core. All right, so we pick up the core. Oh, my inventory is full. That's not good. Do I have another one? Oh, does it just not disappear? Okay, that might be a thing. I don't know. There you go. You pick up a core, and you can just run with it, and all you have to do is click this thing over here. Also, you would have to kite these because they fear you, regardless of level, which is infuriating, of course. And you would activate this with the tainted core, which removes one of the beams. Once you deactivate all 4 of them, it's nice and dandy. And you might think, well, that's not very difficult, is it? Yeah, back in the Burning Crusade, these cores used to be so heavy, you couldn't walk with them. So what you would have to do is, once one of those elementals spawn, you would have to make a line of people going from this shield generator and having, like, space between each other. So you would have one person here, another person here, another person here. You would have to make a line from the generator to the tainted elemental, and you would have to throw the core around. Right? You would just open your bag, you would select the player in front of you, and you would throw the core to him. And that's how you would disable those. And it was an awful lot of fun. It was just amazing. I loved it. Like, when we got here and it was like, oh, I can't move with this. Well, throw a core to another player. Is it still a thing? Throws the tainted core to a friendly player. So you would just throw these around. Oh, yeah, she has a lot of stacks. She would grow like mad. Like, if she got to this point, she was this big, yeah, you're fucked. You're dead. She would kill you with this forked lightning as well. It was just a nightmare of a boss, but just the mechanics, like, you have to throw a thing around because it's too heavy to walk with it, so you'd have to throw it between players. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I've enjoyed it as a tank because I had loads of stuff to do. This was fairly unusual for tanks to have this much stuff. There is another tainted elemental over there. It was fairly unusual still for tanks to have a ton of stuff to do. Most of the bosses were still kind of tank and spank. So, you know, this was exciting. So many things to do, like picking up ads everywhere. If there are no ads to pick up, you can run around and help with the enhanced elementals, or you can help with the tainted cores, right? You can be in the line of people that's just throwing this tainted core to one another. It was awesome. Now I have to be quick because if she grows too much, actually, you can't click the you can't click the pillar, which is kind of bad. And I think I might have been talking too much and kind of forgot about that thing. So I can still click it, so that's nice. But if her hitbox gets too big, I'll have to leave. Oh my god, stop it. These were the most infuriating things in the world. Okay, watching out for... Oh my god, jeez, there it is. Charge. Let's get it quickly. Come on, charge to him. Pick it up, tainted core, and let's hope that I can still click the stupid generator. Oh my god, she's huge. She is huge. There you go. Charge to him. And please let me click on the generator. There it is, thank god. And now she would one-shot your tank if she got this huge. You would wipe by this time. So there we go, Serpentshrine Cavern achieved. Ding. You got the helmet. Alright, we got some nether vortexes, which was a crafting reagent back then. You would actually have to kill raid bosses and some of the dungeon bosses to get those, so you can actually craft better stuff. But that's it, Serpentshrine Cavern. Very good raid, in my opinion. And aside from Vashj being bugged for months and essentially unkillable, it was very enjoyable. Still not better than Karazhan, but, you know, Karazhan is my number 2 raid. Ulduar being number 1. So yeah, there you go. Serpentshrine Cavern. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.